Well, hello, everybody. We are live, and I'm here with the dream team, our beautiful Nick. How are you, Nick?
I'm good, thank you, Marie. Thank you for asking. As always, welcome to everybody. And yeah, we've just been having a little discussion about all the water that's falling out of the sky at the moment.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you want
yeah.
to say what's been happening for you?
Oh, it's the whole of the middle north to middle east coast down to Sydney. If you were driving that distance, we're looking at about 6 hours of driving, and it's just been absolutely hammering with rain in a very short period of time. So there's a lot of flooding. You know, we're talking tens of thousands of homes that have been affected, and the main thing is that the community rallies together, and they're the ones out there picking up the pieces. No government's really doing anything here. Not that I expect them to, but yeah, it's
Yes.
it's a stage that people have to go through. It's like a big release for the earth as well. But yeah,
Yeah.
people are suffering a little bit, so my heart
Yeah.
goes out to them. We got a lot of water here, and you just hunker down and you don't go anywhere because you can't, because there's roads are flooded. There's big holes in the ground everywhere, so you just have to be careful. But it's a happening.
Yeah, exactly. But it's interesting because people are talking more about maybe some of the causes of it that we see in our sky, which is
Correct.
really interesting. So I feel that maybe there's this showing people that there's things going on. Yeah, which
Yeah,
is interesting. So, but
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, so, and it's funny because even though Nick's, what are you, Nick, about 6 hours from me to drive, or
I think it's less actually. I think
5 hours? But we had our first 3 beautiful days without anything in the sky, bright blues, which is what we normally get this time of year. So we've got this extreme, and then 5 hours away, it's flooding. So it's been really interesting. So, but yes, but how's everyone going? Tell us how you've been feeling. And Marie, thanks for putting in your really, really interesting experience that you sent me. So yeah, now and the other thing I wanted to ask as well is these physical senses we can feel when we're lucid dreaming. I just would be so interested to see or hear from people if you've actually had that. So, and it was funny because I was putting it out every night, and then finally last week I had one. And because I was so consciously looking for it as well, it was awesome. But it was the weirdest thing. So I'll tell you in a minute. But yeah, guys, yeah, put in if you've remembered any sort of sensual, sensitive smells, sounds, touch when you've actually been in a dream. Because to me, it's just another realm. It's real, and there's different, experiences to be had as well. And our physical senses can kick in, which is cool. So, it's like we can get to sense and feel things when we go into these other realms. So, yeah. And what about you, Nick? Have you had any interesting dreams?
Well, when I reflected back on all the dreams that I've had, and I don't really recall anything smells that I've,
No.
and I couldn't. Visuals easy, of course, but
Yeah.
and I went through all the senses. Anyway, sure enough, I got a dream because I was putting it out there too, and I think it's just showing you the possibilities there, and it's not something that perhaps we need to always have coming into our consciousness while we're in a dream state. Whatever. Like if I had a very heightened sense of smell, and that was the way that I do love good smells though. But perhaps that's how I would get my messages. I thought about that maybe if for some people who dream, and then I thought, well, no, it doesn't really happen. But what I did get was I felt a hug that someone had given me. In a dream.
Wow.
And it wasn't anyone I knew. It was just this big, bear-like, happy, lovely person that was a friend of a family that we just driving overseas, we visited. It was an interesting dream in itself. But I remember he hugged me. He was so happy to see me. And he gave me this huge hug. And I felt that hug. Like I felt the squeeze and the love that came from it. So it was two types of that feeling, emotional as well as the touch. So yeah, but apart from that, yeah, a hug is lovely.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? That's pretty cool to be able to get hugs in your dream and feel them. So I wonder where you were when you were getting that. I'm wondering if there was you know, a soul or an angelic being that wanted to physically be able to give you that sensation.
That's true, actually. Very
Yeah.
true. Because he was a foreigner and we were traveling overseas, and it was all
I
to do
believe it's someone that's gone death card. So it's someone I feel that's maybe what's the word I'm looking for? Transitioned.
Yeah.
Or an angelic realm from the other realm. That's definitely, to me, it's like a big change or another realm.
Yes, that's lovely.
Mm.
What a lovely card. Yeah, people look at that card and go, oh, you know, it's like, but that's a perfect example of where that card comes into play in a beautiful way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, the last gritting I did, this card came up for me. So I knew it can be very slow as well, but to me it just takes everything into a whole different level. It's like it can be slow, but it can be such a beautiful big transformation of your life.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
so I feel that
and just one extra thing on that dream, at the very end of the dream, we were driving off. We had 3 cars there. I don't know why, because we were traveling overseas, and it was all to do with the color of the cars and the type of car, I guess they were. We're sitting in this green, like it was a Carmen Ghia. That's all the message I could get, that image. And we were just about to drive off, and this lady appeared right up in my face. Like I could once again feel her right there in my face. And she was dressed like an Emirati flight attendant. She had a veil on, makeup, she very pretty, and she was put her face right there in front of me, and she said, "I love your car." And of course, cars in dreams represent our vessel, our physical body. So I'm wondering, with the green, it was getting a love back for ourselves, you know, in
Yep,
that as
and
well.
also spirit. Well, we know about the planes and spiritual, like, you know, going on a spiritual upgrade or a spiritual journey. So the fact that she flew, and you, of course, worked for the airlines before. So isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
So I think that is a real, that's a real recognition, you know, because I also see my car also as my life, not just as myself. So it depends how we depict that symbology for ourselves. So that's cool. That's amazing.
And what about you, Marie?
It was so interesting because I had a dream that because so when I have a drink, sometimes I'll have some cigarettes. That's just me. They're all organic and I roll my own. But this dream, it was I haven't vaped ever, and this dream, there was this vape, and it had a mint taste to it and a mint smell to it. So I had some in my dream, and I went, "Oh wow, okay, so it's mint. It's got mint in it," and that was all I knew.
Isn't that interesting?
And
so peppermint.
Yeah, it was like a deep mint sort of, and I like mint. Mint's my favorite sort of any sort of thing. But it was interesting because I'd been putting out there to smell, but this was a taste and a smell, which was really interesting.
Very interesting. Because you know, peppermint to me, and it's funny because I've been drawn to peppermint a lot lately, and because we've had some building going on, I went and actually sprayed peppermint in some water onto the insulation bats before they put the wall up, and it's just leftovers been sitting in a bowl in the house, and I can just smell peppermint, and I just feel it was obviously the right thing at the moment. So peppermint's such a powerful herb.
Yeah,
it has so many great properties too. So if you look into that, I'm sure there's a lot more why it was that smell in particular.
Yeah, true. Good point. But I was like, and it was such a lucid dream. Like I felt like I was holding this thing as well. It was really weird.
Yeah, to have a taste. Now there's something that would be really rare.
Yeah.
Very unusual.
So so it'd be interesting to see if anyone else has ever had that sort of experience. Like it hasn't. I know in real life, there's a special name for being able to smell psychically. I know I have that. And it's been a couple of times, it's been so handy. I've actually been able to follow my nose to where something specific is, where I couldn't remember the name of it. I've sort of vaguely remembered what it looked like, and my nose, I followed the scent and I found it. So I think
so smell obviously is a vibration too. I mean, everything is based on that. So you're picking up on a vibration, aren't you? And it's just so, in a way, our senses are picking up no matter what it is and the form it comes in. It's a form of a vibration that we're attuned to.
Absolutely. And so it's what we ask for as well. So we can ask for help, and
Mm.
sometimes it comes in the strangest ways. So which
Yeah, it
is really,
does, doesn't it?
yeah. So sorry, Jasper's been yelling at me. He wants to
Oh,
say
hi,
hello
Jasper.
to everybody. So Jasper's here as well. But well, I might go back because Marie sent in a beautiful experience that she had, and I'd really like to yeah, have a look at this and see what everyone says, because I've been getting some stuff going on as well. So let's have a look at Marie's experience and then on to her dream.
Hi, Marie. I took an afternoon nap on the recliner and felt during it I was having a whole discussion if it was time. I remember asking if I had done all that I should have, and there was discussion if I was ready.
Interesting. And then this is
Mm.
the dream.
That night, I fell asleep with strong, high-pitched ringing in my ears. Then while asleep, I felt the ringing started pulsing, and a white light came from maybe 6 inches out from each ear and surrounded my head area. It was bright white, and there were some very light pastel colours around it, maybe pink, yellow, green. There seemed to be a scene in front of my vision of people, but it was hazy or wispy and not really sure. That's all I remember when I woke up both times, but I feel like there was a lot more. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And it's so interesting. It's because Marie actually asked, she asked, you know, if it's, you know, what's her actual what is it, purpose, or if there's anything that she should have been doing. And of course you're going to get an answer, but so this is an amazing way to get an answer. So what are your thoughts on this?
Well, she's had some sort of an upgrade, that's for sure. Although there's some expansion that's been going on. I mean, as I've mentioned many times, that ringing in the ears is a sure sign to me that there's messages coming in for me, maybe codes, to open up keys in my body and my psyche to connect me. Before I actually want to comment on this, I'd just like to know if Marie's made any assessment on it, like if she's broken it down, because you get very, really graphic dreams too.
Does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you're tuned in. So I'm sure that, and this is what we've got to start learning to do, is how to interpret them for ourselves, because they're messages to us from us, basically,
That's
so.
true.
Um,
Yeah, so but it's very profound, and it's very lucid dreaming as well.
yes.
That this is real lucid dreaming, and your senses, it was started with your noise before you went to sleep, but then you're sort of feeling that light and the buzzing and whatever it was that was going on. So yeah, and so I'll wait for Marie, if you're still on, do you want to just pop in what you got from it, how you felt actually as well when you woke up? That would be really interesting to know. Yeah, and if you've noticed a change in your sensory sort of skills, I suppose. So yeah, I'd love to know. So
Yeah, and that's a good point. That, like, also when you wake up after that, in the days after, you start, little weird things will start happening that I think make you realise that something did actually occur during that.
Absolutely.
And they may have occurred anyway, but they're just you're more conscious of it.
Yeah,
You're looking at all the little subtleties.
I know. And it might be things you don't expect. I often find a thought will pop into my mind, and I'll go, it's like an aha moment. And you go, why haven't I ever looked at it from that perspective before? And it's because you don't know what you don't know. So it's really beautiful I love those aha moments. Yes. So no, so it'd be really interesting. I don't know if Marie's still on. So if she's not, she might have gone. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so I mean the colors alone are amazing. So I'm going to pull a couple of cards for Marie here. Oh, hang on a minute. She has popped something in. Hang on. Oh, here we go.
Okay. I've felt and been told I've been blocked purposely from some things. I think it's starting to slowly clear up. I have felt very sensitive to energies.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, because the Seven of Cups has come up for you, Marie, which is, to me, this is an emotional chaos thing. So it's almost like it might have been too much for you here on this earth plane to truly tap into, to what your gifts and talents are, what you've mastered, whether it's in other lifetimes, whether it's through your lineage. So I feel I agree with that comment just from this card. I'm just pulling another one. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Five of Wands. So this is the change. So when the Five of Wands comes up, it's the action that's taken to change things. So let's see what the outcome is with this one. One of these two wants to come out. It's that one. Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. You got the Lovers card. So this is beautiful. This is where, for me, it's where everything comes back into balance. It's really finding your true balance between that feminine, masculine, and then the gifts then come through. So while there was chaos, there was no point bringing them through. They probably would have given you more emotional or mental chaos. So I'm actually really going to agree with what you're saying. I love that. And it's time. It's like, yeah, it's time. So that's pretty exciting. So,
and
yeah.
you know what? Spirit, universe, source, whatever you call it, has a way of sending us into where we need to go in the right path, in the right way. So, and we do get a bit impatient.
Mm-hmm. Really?
So,
really?
yeah, you think about, like, if I had been data dumped everything that I know now, at the very beginning, I don't know where it would have sent me. I don't know if it would have allowed me to continue expanding in the way I was meant to, and to do it where I can have an influence on others in a good way. So, but it's the fact that you've had this opening up for you is beautiful.
Yes.
And those colours obviously are significant.
Exactly. So I know them, but I just looked them up. I just thought with the Betty Bethard's book. So the rose or the pink color is love. All right. The yellow color is peace, and the green color for me is always healing and growth. So as well. So they're perfect colors, aren't they? So things will happen peacefully. You'll feel more love, and also there's a healing going on as needed. So that's just brilliant. What an amazing experience. So, yeah.
And it makes me think too, because quite often I think it's a question we all ask ourselves is, what are we here for? Obviously we're here to raise frequency of this planet, of this earth. But beyond that, because we're in a physical body, we're going to still continue having experience. And some of those experiences are going to be things that they're just not in our understanding yet. So like we're all got a new part that we'll be playing in it. I mean, my advice to myself when I get a little bit of an upgrade is that, okay, something's happening inside that's connecting me. Like I'm the conduit in the middle of my physical body, and I have to find balance between the two. And so that's when I go out and just start exploring things, doing things that I haven't necessarily done before.
Okay.
And what I'm trying to do is, if I've been shifted up, I feel like if I shift this up in break a pattern that I've done, just do something differently, and it opens up something new, because we all want to see some practicality. Show me now, like show me where it is in my real 3D world here. Yeah. So it's, and you can also go in now and get more clarity, ask for more clarity.
Yeah, true. That's so true. And Marie's popped some other things up, which is lovely. But yeah, you're right, Nick. It is. It's like it really neat. For me, I love to see the confirmation through the physical world as well. Absolutely.
Yes. So Marie said, I've felt and been told I've been blocked purposely from some things, which is true.
Yeah.
I had another experience. I was outside and there were lots of clouds. I was just looking at the sky and mountains in a distance. Clear as day, there was a huge dragon on the mountain. The shape was formed from sun through clouds.
Yep. I know. I've seen those. That's your dragon. Yeah. That's that beautiful divine will, that energy. But, I've had complete experiences of riding a dragon and flying and knowing I've done this. This is something that I actually earned, and something that, you know, whether it was in a whole other realm, a whole other plane, it doesn't matter. It's almost like everything's connected anyway. So
Yeah.
so that's amazing, Marie, that you're getting these experiences as well. So wow. So I didn't realize Christine's on as well. Hi, Christine.
Hi,
Yes.
Christine.
Um, I was going to say, yeah. So look, I think it's great. I think so. It was really good reassurance for me that absolutely putting out our intention, we will get what we want, but it might just come to us in a way that we don't expect. Like Nick got a beautiful hug and that, you know, that real connection feeling. And for me, it was definitely the smell and taste. So it actually works. So the more we ask for things, the more that they will drop into our world, so to speak.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's you know how you're talking about, like, you know, the dragons, it seems the conversations of dragons are coming up more and more, like that we know that they're, you know, the fact that it's the one astrological sign that's mythical. You know, if you look at Chinese mythology, everything is a real animal that we've got in our, but where are the dragons? You know, so they've gone underground for a while, but they're coming back, you know, and I have no doubt that they really exist physically. And but in the meantime, that we can connect with them on levels. And I often connect with them, as you said, through colour. Like I'll bring up a different colour and I'll send a coloured dragon to somebody in need.
Beautiful. I love that idea. I haven't done that before.
Because my dragon is emerald green and quite shiny and scaly, but glistening. But often I'll just turn that dragon or turn one of my other dragons into a colour and send it off to somebody to do its thing.
That's beautiful. I always send love and light and ask the angels to go, but I love it. That's a great idea. Getting the dragon energy involved. Yeah, that's beautiful. Okay.
Only because they're physical. They can be, you know, they're here on the earth doing what they're doing, and they're redoing all the grid lines as well. So that's you know, part of bringing us into a more harmonious way of living.
Absolutely. No, I agree. Yeah, I think you're right. I have been noticing more and more people bringing up dragons just on a couple of different sites that I like to pop into now and then, and I'm going, wow, this is interesting. A lot of dragon talk. So, I agree with you. I mean, I've just been bringing I just go, as I've told you all, I just go dragon up whenever I feel I need, you know, just feel that little bit of extra security or whatever. But yeah, they're pretty amazing. I mean, there has been the question as well, was it dragons that have been found on the earth, the bones, rather than, you know, like dinosaurs. So they made up these dinosaurs because they didn't want us knowing about these absolutely magical creatures. So yeah, that's always been a question I've asked, you know.
And I have a question, Marie, about, you know, this, we're talking about the skulls and you're doing that skull, what do you call it? I don't know. And I was thinking about, like, what came to my mind this week was the skulls of dragons, you know, those crystal dragon skulls.
Yeah,
because then I started thinking the shape, does it make a difference what it is, what type of skull it is? Does it change, or is it still having the same energy that's coming through when you are speaking to it? Or
well, it was so interesting because where I actually got Jasper from, where we met, the geologist that was there, he said that he allows he got special like craftsmen to do it in Brazil, but he said he let the crystal would talk to them as to what shape it wanted to be.
Oh.
So yeah, which is really interesting. I'm glad I had good chats to him about it, because I was, you know, so he said whatever the crystal, whatever it is that shape it wants to be, that's how it will come out. They'll have a plan maybe, but if it goes AWOL or something else needs to happen, they'll work with that too. Brilliant. Which is fascinating.
Yeah, it is actually, because I did put it out there for to bring in, because I don't have a real crystal skull. And so I put it out there, and of course I got two actually, and I thought, wow.
Wow. What did you get? So you got a...
So the very first one is, I got a crystal skull, and it was green, and I couldn't work out what it was made from, but it was like that soft jade green.
Okay, so it's not malachite or anything like that.
No, it was more, I just,
Jade.
the word jade, but there was another, I think there was another stone that came in, and I didn't really
Yeah.
research it. And so basically, and then I said, oh, well, have you got a name? Because then I can refer. So I got Honre was the name.
Honre. Oh, that's fantastic. It sounds a little bit Mexican.
Yeah, well, I think it's French, like for Henry, but I was hearing
yes.
Honre, and then I thought, is that Henry, like Honre? And then as soon as I sort of get it connecting to that one and going, oh yeah, and I felt the energy immediately. It was very stoic and like in control and charged, but I wouldn't say serious, but it was very kind, like really kind. Just
wow.
and I thought, what a mix of a character this one is. And then as I was getting used to that and understanding what that energy was, another one popped in, which was amber in colour. And that one was really what I even wrote, I had to write down how that energy was for that one, but it was very different again. And it felt, obviously really grounding, but quite fun, like playful, but without being silly. It was a real sort of beautiful, grounded innocence about it.
Well, of course there would be, because where does amber come from? Amber resin comes from the tree. Yeah. So that there's a tree spirit, the dryad, and they're grounded, but they can be very playful as well. People have actually, you talk to them and ask them, and they'll actually move towards you. I don't know if you've ever tried that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, so that could be why the name amber's come through, or why they're amber, because it's a depiction of their energy and vibration as well.
And I got that name too, and that was Umbi.
I love it. Umbi.
Look, I don't know. It's just fun anyway. And I thought, I'll take both of those. They obviously need.
I hope you can come on tomorrow and actually pop in a description of what you did. And I think that's really important, because, and if anyone on has actually got a crystal skull, even if you send a photo of it and send it in either to myself or Elisa, and we can show it. And then, I think that'd be amazing, just to share our skulls. So, because it's interesting, I've only actually got clear quartz crystals and rutilated crystal, or some people have. There's so many different beautiful crystal types that people have. So
because I had no idea. I didn't put out anything, like I said, I want it to be like this. I just was open to
just asked. And then received whatever it was you got. That's beautiful. So if you don't own an actual physical 3D crystal skull, what Nick did is really smart. You can actually do that and see if you can, see what happens and see what comes through. You can ask for it before you have a dream. You can do it just through some contemplation and see what comes in, and trust yourselves. Whatever you get, completely trust it. I remember I remember when Elisa first said, I think I've got the name of my crystal. And she was going, but I don't believe it. I said, well, you sort of have to, otherwise you're calling your crystal a liar. So it was really funny. So I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'll wait till tomorrow. But so look, just ask. I love what you've done, Nick. That's really cool. Yeah. So Marie's actually.
I love crystals and rocks, but haven't gotten the skull yet. I haven't liked the energies of the ones I've seen. Yeah, exactly.
It's absolutely a real connection, a personal knowing. It's a spiritual thing as well. And honestly, unless Jasper had yammered it away at me for the whole week, I probably wouldn't have bought a crystal skull like that. It was just like, oh my God, I didn't expect this. So Marie, maybe you could actually do exactly what Nick did. I think that would, and you're so tuned in like that, I think that would probably work really well for you. So,
and this is the fun of dreams. You see, you can create, and anything that if there are restrictions, because there are some blocks still here, you can experience it in a dream state, or just prior to stepping into a dream state or coming out of one is ideal. Because then you really remember it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think so too. I hate to do this to everyone, but I think I'm actually going to cut it shorter today. It's sort of,
Yeah.
we've done half an hour. I'm just really tired because I didn't get to
Yes,
sleep till
yeah.
3, and I'm just feeling my head. It's like I'm not connecting like I normally do, if that
No.
makes sense.
Yeah,
And so
totally,
I'm just
totally.
figuring, look, I'm just going to honour the process and just, but look, I love you all, and thank you so much for coming on. And I'll be here tomorrow with Elisa, and then back again next week with Nick. So, but I just think today I'm just going to really honour myself. I'm just so tired. I'm
Yeah.
actually going to, just let it go here, which is half an hour, which is perfect.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
so
Exactly.
thanks so much for coming on, Nick, and thank you everybody, and I love you so much, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah.
Elisa,
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Bye now.
bye.